Hello, and welcome to the Butler Collegian Newscast. I'm Ethan Polak. Butler University has announced that masks will no longer be required around campus, including classrooms, dining halls, and residence halls, starting March 1st. This decision was made based on the low amount of COVID cases during the past couple of weeks, the high vaccination rate on campus, and the lack of any new COVID-19 variants. Some faculty may still require students to wear masks in their classes. This decision was also supported by the CDC's guidelines. This is the first time masks will not be worn inside classrooms on Butler's campus since March of 2020. Multimedia reporter James Andrews got some answers from the students on how they feel about the mask mandate being lifted.
Over the weekend, Butler announced it would be lifting its mandatory face mask policy effective Wednesday, March 2nd. It has been close to 2 years since Butler and every other campus across the country were originally shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Butler students have not been able to interact face-to-face with each other in an academic setting since that date until now. I caught up with some Butler students to see how they felt about the campus making masks optional.
I think my first reaction was just kind of like a sigh of relief. I think especially for being college students and being here for the last 3 years now, most of my college experience has been with a mask, and just kind of removing that barrier. I think it's going to be an exciting time.
It was a bit of relief actually, because we've been having masks since the beginning, March of 2020. So this is almost now exactly 2 years of having masks, and especially on campus, it's very hard to keep a mask on everywhere you go, and the feeling of having masks on all the time is getting frustrating at this point, to be honest with you, really.
The major concern students had was the timing of this announcement. With spring break week starting just 3 days after the mandate is lifted, there will be a higher risk for exposure when students return back to campus.
Going away for spring break, and they did it 3 days before everybody might be going away for spring break, and people are going to go places, and they might go to certain areas, say Florida, California, all those places where you find beaches and that sort. And they might come back and they might bring COVID, and so we might have to go back to masks.
I think a lot of times when we come back from break, I see a lot of people just for the first week whenever we come back from break, a lot of people are just in Ross.
Through the concerns, there is still a belief that Butler students will be able to continue the positive trajectory together.
I think we've seen this semester, especially with almost everyone on campus being vaccinated, we've kind of removed the masks from Hinkle and outside and stuff, and I think people are still being precautious, and people understand the risk of transmitting the disease, and so they're taking their own precautions.
Some faculty members may continue to require face masks in the classroom, and as always, check the Butler COVID dashboard for the latest updates. For the Butler Collegian, I'm James Andrews.
While the seasons continue to change, Butler students are also preparing to get ready to travel all across Europe as they get ready for spring break. This semester, Butler's Study Abroad program offered students the opportunity to visit 3 different countries. The students had the choice of touring Dublin, Ireland, Paris, France, or Amsterdam, Netherlands. Each of the programs will be led by Butler faculty and will begin on March 3rd. For more information on the upcoming programs, contact Study Abroad advisor Caitlin Moore online. That's all for this week's Butler Collegian Newscast. To stay up to date with all things news on Butler's campus, visit us online at thebutlercollegian.com or on Twitter at thebutlercollegian. For the Butler Collegian, I'm Ethan Polak. Have a great week and an even better spring break, dogs.